What's up, guys? Today I'm going to do a review on the DJI Osmo Pocket. I'm going to be talking mainly about skateboarding and action sports, but I'm also going to talk about this as just a daily camera. I feel like if you're somebody who films yourself skateboarding or films yourself doing any kind of athletic activity, this is the best camera to use. If you're somebody that skates with a big crew and skates with a bunch of guys and films other people every day, I would get a GoPro Hero 7 because the stability is great on that and it's great for filming other people really close, but it's very hard to film yourself with unless you mount it onto your head or a helmet. But with the DJI Osmo Pocket, the best thing about this camera is that it can actually follow you. You can set this thing on a tripod and draw a square around yourself on the app, and it will follow you around the skate park and film in 4K, 60 frames a second, really good quality, stable video. So that's the reason I got this camera in the first place. It was to replace a drone. So every time I go out to the skate park, if I want to get a shot where the camera is following me, like a dad cam, it's like having your dad on a little camcorder on the side of the skate park. Instead of having to bring my drone and this big bag to film shots like this, I've got this tiny little camera that I can fit in my pocket. It just mounts on the tripod that I would already be bringing to the skate park, and it films those shots. The 4K 60 out of this camera looks great, but a lot of people have trouble editing it. So I have a pretty nice Lenovo computer. If you have a Core i7 processor or AMD processor and an NVIDIA graphic card, you're probably going to be okay. Personally, I don't have any problem editing the 4K 60 on Premiere on my Lenovo computer, but some people that have slower computers have a really hard time editing this footage because the computer just can't process fast enough to show it in real time so that you can actually edit it correctly. Another cool thing about the Osmo Pocket is it has story mode, so you can film some short clips and it can edit them together and put some really cool transitions and some music to it. I haven't played around with that much, but once I do play around with that and remember to actually use it at the skate park, I will throw some clips up on my Instagram, Michael_relevant. So go follow that Instagram if you want to see those. And I'm going to try to remember to do that at the skate park. It's not super wide. It's easy to destroy this thing. It's not rugged, not waterproof. If you want something that is tough and waterproof and you can film really close, get a GoPro Hero 7. It's got good stability. It's good to put on a pole and hold right up next to somebody's feet. But if you want something that you can film a good, decent, like medium to long shot with that's stable, then get an Osmo Pocket. So a lot of skateboarding content is straight on Instagram. I'm going to start working more on my Instagram because a lot of skateboarding just doesn't make it to YouTube. A lot of the really good skateboarding clips they just live and die on Instagram. So another cool thing about this camera is you can save stuff straight to your phone from the camera. You can plug your phone into this thing and save this right into the phone and just upload it to Instagram immediately when you film it. So that is really going to help people's social media game. So another cool thing about this is you can get a wireless module so that you can have Wi-Fi from your phone to this camera. So it doesn't have any built-in Wi-Fi. They did that to just conserve space and sell more stuff. So the only accessory I would even consider buying for this is the wireless module. It's very important if you want to film yourself. You have to actually buy another adapter to mount it to the tripod, but it's very important because without this, you really can't have the camera follow you when you're skateboarding. So you get this thing, you mount it on the tripod, throw the Osmo on it, then in the app you draw a square around yourself and it will follow you. It does a really good job at following you like a robotic cameraman. That's the only accessory you really need. All the other accessories are really just a waste of money. The case that the Osmo comes in is good. It protects it. You don't really need another case. You don't need anything else. Just the wireless module and the Osmo Pocket, and you can get some great video. If you want to get ND filters, polarized ND filters, that is also really helpful, but I don't see any use for any of the other accessories at all. The good thing about having 4K 60 is you can crop way into the image. You can zoom into a little part of the image and put the image in slow motion without losing any quality. So you can film something far away and then zoom into a little part of the image, or you can actually set the camera on a tripod and use that to follow yourself. So you film a larger frame and then you zoom in and follow what you're doing in that frame in a closer, cropped in section of the video. And you still don't lose any quality, so that works really well for any kind of action sports. The 1080 120 frames a second on this camera crops into an already tiny sensor and it looks like garbage. So I would stay away from the 1080 120 and I would stick with the 4K 60 if you're gonna do any kind of slow motion. So far this year I've been using the Osmo Pocket more than any other camera. The reason for that is because it is so small. I keep this thing in my pocket all the time. It's really easy to just pull out and film something really quick, turn it off, put it back in my pocket. When you're filming with this at the skate park, it doesn't look like you're filming at all. It looks like you might be holding some small thing. Maybe you're checking the air quality at the skate park, but it doesn't look like you have a camera. So people are not as nervous around this. It's not like you're sticking your phone in their face or a big camera in their face. I've been filming other people with this, and the cool thing about it is you don't even have to be on a skateboard to film skateboarding with this thing. It's a gimbal, so you can be walking around, and it can really open up a lot of new shots that you couldn't get with any other camera when you're filming other people skateboarding. Shaky video really hurts my head and hurts my eyes to watch, but the video out of this camera is always really smooth because it's got that 3-axis gimbal. The low light's not bad. It's not good coming from somebody who has an A7S II and can film in complete darkness, but it's really good for a sensor that small. Like the GoPro Hero 7 just falls apart when you get in low light. The stability stops working and it gets really grainy, but I don't see that as much with the Osmo Pocket. If you put it in D-Cine-like mode, I feel like it's worse in low light. I feel like that's better in really bright light, and it does give you a higher dynamic range when it's really sunny outside, but I would put it in the standard color profile when you're in low light, and it doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty sharp. So there you go. That's my review on the DJI Osmo Pocket. I'll probably do another one of these on the GoPro Hero 7 sometime. I've got more trick tips, and reviews on skateboarding products coming soon. So if you're interested in that sort of content, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to do a quick review on the DJI Osmo Pocket for skateboarding. So this is Steven. He's from Cincinnati. He's a guy that does editing for Andy Sharrock and John Hill, and they have some really big skateboarding channels on YouTube. I think Andy has 2 million subscribers maybe, and yeah, this guy Steven does the editing for him. And I drew the little square around Steven and had him skate the vert ramp here. It's really wet because there were these guys in camouflage driving these little remote control cars everywhere at the skate park that day. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. He's from Cincinnati. And we were skating that day. Yeah, so at first I had the square drawn around him, and it was doing a really bad job. It like filmed his legs and cut his head off a lot, and it was too quick. And so when I just controlled it without using the active track, it worked a lot better. So on this one, I drew a little square around the skateboard, and then I walked over and tried to ride it, and it would keep it in frame for a little while, and then it would just lose it, when I started moving the board around, when it did that autofocus thing every time it lost it. So It can track it for a little while. Once I get the Wi-Fi adapter and I can use my phone, it's gonna work a lot better. I can actually draw the little square around my shirt, wear a bright color, and it's gonna work. But for this, it worked better than I thought it would. Like right there, it really caught the board. That's just drawing a little square around the actual skateboard, then walking over, and it still has the skateboard after all that. And it lost it right there when I did that 180 out. So here's Steven again, riding the bulls. It had a hard time when any time in the bowls. I feel like the Osmo likes to keep him right in the top of the frame, and it likes to move really quick. But we'll see. Once I get the Wi-Fi adapter, should be this week or something, I'll make another video about that. It's a great park. So here, I just sat the Osmo down, and it looks like it slowly is going higher and higher for some reason. So when I first set it down, it was looking at the ramp, but as I walked over, it just kind of went up a little bit higher. I found that sometimes the Osmo makes some really weird noises, especially when I'm moving around with it a lot, skating with it. It works really well most of the time. There's that little car. Okay, so this is just kind of skating around with the Osmo. When you're walking with it, it does a lot more up and down bouncing, but when you're skating with it or riding a bike, it is very smooth, even though it's a tiny little gimbal. But I'm really impressed with the Osmo so far, especially in low light. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is in low light. Here's one of the guys that was driving those little cars around the skate park. It scared him there. This is actually the Mavic Air. So I guess that's the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you like this kind of content, reviews, tutorials, and videos about what I'm learning as I grow as a filmmaker, then hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.